El tema del día de hoy es obligation and permission in present, ¿ok? ¿Alguien tiene una idea de cuáles son nuestras obligaciones y permisos? ¿O qué más o menos les da a entender el nombre del tema de hoy? Yes, Javier?
Like modal verbs,
Ok,
should, must.
okay, very well. Very good guess. What about you, Melody? What do you think it is? Obligation and permission.
Um, I feel the same than Javier. I think so. When you said should or cool in obligation, when you said the other person you have to do that or you have to something like that. I
Okay,
feel is the theme about that.
okay. Very well, very well. Yes, we're going to see modal verbs. That's correct. But not the ones exactly that you mentioned, okay? When we want to say that someone is obligated to do something, we say must or have to, okay? You have to do this, you must do this, okay? We are going to see this in the next slides, okay? Let's begin then. When we want to talk about what we are obliged to do or what we must do, we use the verbs or modal verbs must and have to, okay? To talk about what we are permitted to do, that we allowed to do, we can use the verb let, can, or be allowed to, okay? These are the main verbs that we're going to see right now. Must and have to talk about obligations, let, can, and be allowed to permission, okay? Let's try to watch this topic really quickly, okay? Now, must and have to are both used to talk about rules or obligations. For example, number one, must and have to are both followed by the base form of the main verb. She must give money to her parents every month. They have to get a visa before they go on holiday to the USA. Okay? Must is a modal verb, so it doesn't change its form. Okay? We're going to use must always the same way, okay? We are going to always write must, okay? I must wear a uniform. You must do her homework. No matter what tense, either present, past, or future, you always going to write must, okay? Have to isn't a modal verb, so its form does change depending of the tense that we're talking about. If we're talking about in past or in present or the future, or depending to the subject that we are talking about. For example, I have to get up early for my job. He has to have short hair because he's in the army. Okay? There is no past form of must. Instead we use have to. Okay? We had to obey our teachers when we were students. She had to drive on the ride when she was on holiday in France. Okay? Now, what are the difference before in must and have to? Well, there's not like a big difference between these words, okay? They are, like I said before, they are modal verbs, and both means that we are obligated to do something or someone is obligated to do something, okay? Both talk about rules or things that we must do, okay? Now, the word must, we tend to use it in present time, okay? When we talk about in past, we are obligated to use had to, okay? Like here, because must doesn't have a past form, so we use had to. We had to obey our teachers when we were students. Okay, now let's try to practice a little bit. I'm going to ask you, each one of you, to talk about something that you must or have to do in your daily life. For example, I must work every day. That's something that I have to and I am obligated to do every day. Javier, can you tell me something do you have to do every day?
I have to take a shower every day.
Okay, okay, that's good. Melody, can you give me another example?
I have to wear shoes every morning.
Okay, very well. Miguel, can you give me an example but the modal verb must? Something that you must do.
I must. Uh, I must. Uh, talk English. I don't
Okay,
know.
okay. And that one would be more like have to. Must is a little bit stronger about obligations. For example, I must drive my car with my driver's license. Okay, that's a must, something that I must do, because I don't do it, I could get in trouble. Okay, do you understand the difference a little bit?
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Okay,
understand.
okay, thank you. Pablo, can you give me another example?
Yeah, maybe this one. I must attend the stand-up meeting every day.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you. Very well. Baltasar, can you give me another example?
Mm, I must to have my uh, permission to work in USA.
Okay, I must have. Very well. Like I must have my visa to work in the USA. That will be another one. Thank you. And Alan, can you give me another example using must or have to?
Yes, teacher. Uh, I must call early my coworkers every day.
Okay. Perfect. And the last one, David, can you give me another one?
Yes, I must go to work at 6 a.m.
Okay, exactly. So, okay, guys, mustn't have to talk about some things that we are obligated to do, like work or even by the law. Okay, like I must wear my uniform at school. It could be one. I must work every day because if I don't, I could lose my job. I am obligated to do it. Okay, I must get my visa before I get to work in the USA. Okay, things that we are obligated. Now, we can use must and have to say things that we are not obligated to do. Okay, we can say mustn't and don't have to. Okay, for example, mustn't is used to talk about things we are obligated not to do. Okay, we don't need to do them, we are not obligated to do these things. For example, in most countries, you mustn't drink alcohol and then drive. It's against the law. You mustn't run in the corridors. You might slip. Now, don't have to is used to talk about things that we are not obligated to do. We can do if we want or not. Okay? In this case, don't have to is like saying you can do it, but you at your own risk. Okay? If you want to do it, if you it's okay, it's your problem. Okay? It's up to you. We can go to the cinema or not. I don't mind. We don't have to go out if you don't want to. If you don't like the food, don't worry. You don't have to eat it. Okay? That's a difference in here, really important. Mustn't, where we are not obligated to do something, it don't have to, is not talking about obligations, but things that we can or we cannot do. Okay? We can do them or we cannot do them. Either way, it's okay. Do you understand the difference between mustn't and don't have to? It's
Not much.
okay. Now, Javier, can you give me an example using mustn't?
I don't. Okay. Maybe I must to eat this food. No.
Okay, okay.
The other is a person must do not like a don't don't no shouldn't
Okay,
shouldn't
okay,
no
yes.
no
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the have to is like I don't have to the clean house for example.
Yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. Don't have to has like a meaning of you can do it or you cannot do it. Okay,
Okay,
like
okay,
saying that if you do it, it's okay, and if you don't do it, it's okay too. Okay,
okay,
but
okay.
mustn't has a more strong connotation when we are talking about obligations. Okay, there's a difference when we say mustn't and don't have to. That's why it says here, mustn't is used to talk about we are obligate not to do. um, yes, Baltasar.
For example, mustn't is we can't use in the shops. For example, mustn't enter with pets.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. That's right. You mustn't enter with pets, and you can say too. You don't have to. Um, you don't have to wear hats inside a house. Okay, you don't have to wear them. Okay, because sometimes people think it's impolite when you use a hat inside a closed space, but it's okay if you use it because there's no actual problem if you use them. Okay, now do you see the difference, Javier?
Yes, I think
It's like
or-
saying you don't need to, you don't need to do this.
yes.
Okay, okay, very
Yeah.
well. Anyone
That,
else has a question? Okay, now let's continue with can and be allowed to. Okay, now we are talking about permission. Okay, can and be allowed to are both followed by the base form of the main verb. Okay, we are not going to add like another word or different verb. In this case, we are just talking about one word. Uh, for example, in Britain, you can drive when you are 17. He's allowed to wear jeans at his school. Can is a modal verb, so it doesn't change its form. Okay, we can use it in present, past, and future. Okay, I can stay out till 10:30 on Saturday nights, but I have to be home by 8:30 during the week. You can't smoke here, Khalid. Okay? Now, in this case, can and allowed to is to talk about things that we are permitted to do. Okay? We have permission or we don't have permission to do them. Okay? In this case, when we say you can smoke here, it's not like you are going to get in trouble. Like, for example, if I said you mustn't smoke here. If I say you can smoke here, it will be like in a closed space, okay? Like in a restaurant, you can smoke here. But if I say you mustn't smoke here, it would be if I'm like in a gas station, for example. That's a place that you mustn't smoke because it will be really, really dangerous. But if I am in a restaurant, you can smoke here. You are not permitted, you are not allowed to do it. Okay? Do you guys understand the uses or these modal verbs now? Is there any question?
No questions.
Okay, okay, very well. Now, let's continue then. Be allowed to isn't a modal verb, so its form does change, okay? Depending if we're talking in present or in the past, it's going to be different. I'm allowed to smoke. My parents don't mind. Or my parent don't mind. She is allowed to wear makeup even though she's only 14. She is permitted to do it. Okay? Now, the past form of can is could. Okay? And in the case of we're talking about allowed to, be allowed to, we can conjugate it with am, is, are, depending obviously on the subject, and in the past with was and were. Okay, like I said, I was allowed to go out when I was younger. Okay, I was allowed to. We could eat as many sweets as we like when we were young. She was allowed to drive when her father's car when she was only 15. However, we only use could to talk about general permission when we want to talk about a particular episode or permission in the past. We use allowed to. Last night she was allowed to have a bowl of ice cream because she had eaten all her vegetables. Okay? Could is like saying you could get ice cream in the supermarket. Okay, that's a general thing. Allowed to is something more specific. Like here, last night she was allowed to have a bowl of ice cream because she had eaten all her vegetables. Okay, that's the difference. Can is more like any general specifications, and allowed to is more specific. Okay, that's pretty much the difference. Now, let's try to practice a little bit. We're going to do this exercise, then we're going to discuss a little bit. Okay? Let's try to do it quickly so we can start chatting. The first one, can you do it, Javier?
Okay. You must come to the meeting, but it will help us. Or if you are there, mustn't. I know. I say all the
Yeah.
This is, the answer is
Yes.
you must or don't have to.
Exactly. You're going to choose the correct option in each case. What do you think feels better here?
For me is you mustn't come to the meeting, but it will help us, or if you are there.
Okay. Do you guys agree with Javier? You think is mustn't? Or anyone else has a different answer?
I think it should be don't have to.
Okay, why do you think that, Laila?
Because the second part of the sentence is like it would help. So it's not an obligation, but could be an option.
Okay, yes, exactly. The answer is don't have to, just because what Laila said. Because here we're is saying it's not an obligation. Okay, you don't have to come to the meeting, but it will help us all if you're there. Okay, in this case, it's like saying it's okay if you don't go, but
yes.
it will be great if you do. Okay.
Yes. You're right, Laila.
Okay, perfect. Number
you
two.
Have to the reason.
You have the reason. Thank you,
have
Javier.
The reason.
Okay, number 2, Alan, please.
Yes, teacher. I can get a connection on my phone. Can I borrow yours?
Can I borrow yours? Exactly. Thank you. Number 3, Miguel.
The rules say that you have to only invite one guest to the club.
Okay. Can only invite. Have to only invite. Okay, that's what the rule says. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, it's can.
No, yeah, it's have to.
Oh.
It's have to. It has to. Yes.
It's have to.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The rule says that you have to only invite one guest. Okay, only one. Now, number 4. Um, Melody, can you do number 4?
Yes. I must stay on for a few hours because I would rather work late today than over the weekend.
Okay, yes, I
I think
must.
it's a must because talking about the work, so if he doesn't do that, he will be in trouble.
Okay, okay, yes. It's most like a must that I have to. Because must is more, in this case, is more like a personal thing that I must do. I must do this. Debo de. That I have to. Okay? Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Melody. That was the answer. Must. And lastly, number 5. Can you do it, Baltasar? Number 5?
Yes. There's a lot of noise coming from outside. Could I close the window?
Exactly. Could I close the window? We're asking for someone the permission to close the window. Okay? Permission. Very well. Okay. Okay. Is there any question with this topic right now? Is everything clear? Okay. Now,